let's make sure, number one, that the tactics that you are using to grow your agency are based on your strengths. So when you do have time, you're more likely to do them. Hey there, it's Jody Sutter of the Sutter Company, and it's Just Ask Jody. It's that time when I take a question from an agency around an issue they're having with business development, and I'll answer that question in 4 minutes or less. And today the question is, how do I establish a new business process that can work in short spurts between bouts of chaos? I know the right answer is to do something consistently. How do I define something that can expand and contract? Bouts of chaos. What a great way to describe agency life. First of all, I want to acknowledge that agency life can be chaotic, and we have spikes of activity and then troughs of inactivity, and it can be really difficult to maintain or sustain that consistency, which is so useful in business development. So here are a couple of strategies. Number one is to make sure that you're choosing the new business tactics that are right for you based on your strengths, because the more these tactics relate to your strengths, the more you're going to want to do them. In other words, if you're an introvert, it's probably not likely that you are going to relish the idea of walking into a networking event and talk to strangers. It could be a really effective way to generate leads, but it's probably not the first thing that you're going to want to do when you've got some time. Likewise, if you are an extrovert, if you love to network, then we want to get you out there. That's the first thing that you're going to do. But to force you to write a series of blog posts is probably going to be a fool's errand, not the first thing you're going to do. So let's make sure, number one, that the tactics that you are using to grow your agency are based on your strengths. So when you do have time, you're more likely to do them. The other technique I want to give you, and I wish I could take credit for this, it's such a simple thing, but this is something that a client of mine developed when we built their new business ecosystem together. So they acknowledged that agency life is a series of bouts of chaos. They came up with this idea of new business tactics that were always on versus the new business tactics that they considered quote unquote ramped up, the things that they could ramp up to when they had the time to do them. So the always on was a pretty tight list of tactics that they made a commitment to do consistently, but it was small enough that no matter how busy they got, they were able to keep the commitment they'd made to themselves. So that's always on. And then when the chaos sort of died away and they had more time, they then went back to those things that played to their strengths, but they could start ramping things up. So for this agency in particular that came up with this always on ramped up idea, they're a PR firm. They do a lot of social media. So social media was that go-to always on stuff that they did to keep their name in the marketplace and in front of their ideal clients. Then the ramped up stuff was more long form gifts of knowledge, as they called them, long form content, maybe events that when they had time to do, they fully embraced. So those are two strategies that you might want to try in order to fit business development in elegantly to your chaotic agency life. That's it for this Just Ask Jody. If you've got a question you'd like me to answer on another Just Ask Jody in the future, you can email me at jody@thesuttercompany.com. And I'll see you next time.